Shetani ashinde mfululizo. 5,000 types of lies.
The greatness of a nation.
To speak truth to power.
Hi guys, how are you today? Thank you so much for tuning in at Sikiliza TV. My name is Wilson Ochar and I'll be your host for today. And in today's topic, we're going to talk about former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who has made serious allegations against President William Ruto touching on business interest, state power, and control of key sectors of the economy. And what has gone viral online, questions emerging where Kenyans are asking, are these facts political strategy or just a fight for 2027 election? And so we're going to break it down in this today's episode. So let's just watch this video, then we're going to discuss more what former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua was referring to. So let's just watch this video for a minute.
Amenunua kupitia watu yake akina Chebet. Jana polisi wameenda pale, unajua wanasema hata punda ukipaka rangi ya zebra saa ya kulia italia nini? Na ndio huyu kaso? Zilio? Unajua tulikuwa tunafikiria hata punda ukipaka rangi ya pundamilia saa ya kulia atalia kinini? Haya, pale huyu Raphael Tuju, hiyo hoteli amenunua through proxies. Pale iko Land Rovers, Land Cruiser 50 na askari. Who else can send 50 Land Cruiser to evict somebody from his premise? Sinika soko peke yake. Na mimi nimeona Wajaluo pale wanalia. Nyinyi Wajaluo, simuulize sisi. Mnalia hapo, sijui broad base, sijui tutam. By the time Kasongo atamalizana na nyinyi, mtauliza sisi wa Kikuyu. Sasa hoteli ya mtu wenu Mjaluo mwenzenu amechukua na anasema mko pamoja. Polisi wamejaa pale, wamefukuza Tuju. Nyinyi hamjui Kasongo, simuulize sisi. At least Kalonzo alijua hii mtu kuliko sisi. Lakini mimi naendelea kumuongezea makosa ya Kasongo ndio ingie kwa kichwa kabisa. Niendelee kumwambia Kalonzo? Nimwambie nisimwambie? Sasa haya, ametoka hapo. Ameingia mambo ya ICT equipment. ICT equipment yote amepeleka Kenya Power. Kwa sababu mtu ya kabila yake ndio MD. Yeye ndiye ana supply ICT equipment yote Kenya. Ametoka hapo, ameingia mambo ya military hardware katika jeshi letu ya nchi kavu, ya maji na ya hewa. All the military hardware Kasongo ndio mwenye kusupply. Wafanyi biashara wote wamefilisika. Ametoka hapo, biashara ya dhahabu anafanya na mtu anaitwa Hemeti ambaye ni muasi huko Sudan. Sasa dhahabu inaletwa Kenya, inasafishwa, inapelekwa Middle East. Naye anapatia hao buduki, naenda kuua wamama na watoto. Na ndio majani chai ya Kenya imekataliwa kwenda Sudan. Kwa sababu Sudan wamesema William Ruto ameingilia mambo ya Sudan. Hiyo haitoshi, ameingilia mambo ya madini, minerals. Amefanya research, kila shamba yote iko na madini amenyakua. So minerals yote ya Kenya ni yake. Ametoka hapo. Ujue hii mtu atumuelewi. Ameingilia mambo ya importation of sugar and rice. Pale Mwea tuko na shida, Kasongo ameshikana na watu, amelete mchele kutoka nje. Factory ya sukari ya Mumias, ya Nzoia, Chemelil, Muhoroni amenunua. Watu ya Western wameumia. On top of that, amefukuza Wakipsigis kwa shamba, Wakipsigis. Pale inaitwa Angata, pale Kirigoris, anajenga factory ya sukari. From there, ameingilia mambo ya ukulima pia. Shamba ya Egerton University amechukua, analima ngano. Shamba ya Moi University amechukua, analima ngano. So kila kitu kwa hii Kenya, NTSA amechukua na watoto yake, ameleta formula ya kulipisha fines. Hiyo pia ni biashara yake. Mambo ya mafuta, petroleum, petrol and diesel. Yeye ndiye analeta kitu inaitwa G to G. Hata ile iko Turkana amechukua. Lakini ile naaibisha ni ile biashara ya mtu ya kawaida ya matatu pia amechukua. Na watoto wake matatu ya Nairobi wanachukua. So ndio tunasema sasa huyu mtu akirudi kwa bahati mbaya, mkileta mchezo, mkosa kuchukua kura na kujitokeza, atauza Kenya na atafute proxies ajiuzie Kenya. So mjue sisi tulifanya makosa na mnisamehe. Tulikuwa tunatafuta kiongozi tukachagua mfanyabiashara. Huyu sasa amenyang'anya wa biashara wote biashara Kenya. Ako kwa kila sekta ya biashara. One, ameingia manufacturing. Ako na kampuni mbili manufacturing steel. Amenunua Baburi Cement. Amenunua kampuni ya tiles. Na ndio ameweka very heavy tax on imported tiles. Ndio kampuni yake iuze tiles yote katika Jamhuri ya Kenya. Chuma, simiti na tiles ndio anasukumia sisi affordable housing kwa sababu ndio anauza chuma na simiti na tiles.
So yeah, guys, from that video you can clearly see that former Deputy President Gachagua alleges that President William Ruto has interest across multiple sectors of the economy, including steel in manufacturing, cement and tile production. And according to him, this is why the government is aggressively pushing the affordable housing project. And so according to his argument is that the large-scale construction creates demand for materials, construction materials, and potentially benefiting businesses linked to his power position. And so however, there's been no official confirmation or verified evidence publicly presented to support these claims. And so the question becomes now is this economic strategy or political accusation? And if you guys can comment below on my comment section there, let me know, is this an economic strategy or is this a political accusation by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua? In that video clip you can also see former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua referring to former Jubilee Secretary General Raphael Tuju's property saga, where the Gachagua is linking the situation involving a former CS Raphael Tuju's property to alleged state influence, and he's claiming that Raphael Tuju's properties were acquired through proxies and that state security may have been used in enforcement, alleging that there's no other person who can send 50 police vehicles to evict someone in the middle of the night. And so these remain serious allegations without verified proof in court, and findings linking them directly to the president. And so politically this raises concern about the relationship between power, property and the rule of law. And so if you guys can comment below what are your thoughts in regards to that, I'll appreciate it. And so back to the issue of the controlling of the key sectors, and I think that's the most controversial part of the statement that was issued by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, because in that statement, in that video as you've just watched, he clearly alleges that the president is supplying ICT to Kenya Power, a government agency. He's also doing military procurement. He's also doing business in the transport sector. We're alleging that NTSA and the matatu industry have been captured by the president and his children, giving an example where NTSA is using formulas to issue fees and fines and tickets, all created by the president and his children. And so a system where the state institutions and business interests are overlapping, and that's what seems to be what former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua seems to be suggesting, that these claims are not independently verified and should be treated as political statements. So what are you guys thinking? What are your thoughts? Please let me know in the comment sections. Are these verified statements? If you verified, if you have credible information, please comment below in the comment section so that we can share with all Kenyans about the information. And if you believe this is a political statement, also please comment below. And so also in another part of the claim that made by Rigathi Gachagua is that Gachagua links the president in gold trade, linking it to Sudan. He clearly alleges that President William Ruto is doing gold business with Hemeti from Sudan, and making reference that gold is usually imported in Kenya, and it's kind of repackaged, refined, and sold or exported to the Middle East. And so that's a very serious allegation. And also he alleges that the president is in the business of oil, and including the G2G deals are all linked to the president, and also the mineral extraction and land acquisition. The former Deputy President Gachagua seems to alleging that the president is very involved in mineral extraction and land acquisition as well, and so even links them to the declining trade relationships and regional conflicts. So the regional conflict with Sudan, he seems to be connecting that to President William Ruto. And he's also alleging that the trade business of in Kenya is because of this conflict of interest. And so these are very serious geopolitical allegations, but again, no publicly verified evidence has been provided to substantiate them. And so another claim that the former deputy president made was that land acquisition tied to universities. We had that former deputy president mentioned Egerton University and more universities' land being grabbed, and also in the involvement of sugar, rice, and wheat sectors. We clearly alleges that the Mwea factory and Trans Nzoia, Chemelil sugar factories are all under financial distress because they have not been operating, and simply because there is importation of sugar from outside that is competing with their local production. There's importation of rice competing also with the Mwea production, and the growth of wheat in the acquired land in Egerton University also seems to be a part of the business allegation. And so all of these are disrupting the local industries. And so the question many Kenyans are raising from this statement from former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is that who controls Kenya's food systems and land, you know? So if you guys know the answers to that question, please let me know in the comment section below. And so beyond the allegations, I think most Kenyans are also asking, why is Rigathi Gachagua making these statements right now? Could this be part of the political fallout, where we all know that former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua was impeached, and the process being initiated by the president because of the fallout could be the reason why he's making these remarks. Also could be a repositioning ahead of 2027 election. We all know 2027 election is coming up, and as I've mentioned before in my previous video, everything that is happening in politics is not a coincidence. Everything happens for a reason. Everything is well planned and scripted, and so this is could be all part of repositioning ahead of 2027 election, and it also could be an attempt to shape public perception. And so former Deputy President Gachagua seems to be warning Kenyans about concentration of power and wealth, and critics may argue, is this a political rivalry playing out in public? And so what are you guys thinking what is going on here? Do you think the the fallout between former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and President William Ruto, stemming from the impeachment of former DP Gachagua, is the reason why he's making these kind of statements. Let me know in the comment section if you believe this is a continuation of that fallout, or is this an economic rivalry that former DP Gachagua is very concerned and is warning Kenyans about. And so well, we've also seen former DP Gachagua's remarks, tribal remarks. He claims he made ethnically charged statements warning certain communities such as the Luo about political betrayal, because Kenya's history shows that tribal politics can escalate tensions. We all know about the 2007 post-election violence. It was tribal, and obviously we are not trying to incite any violence against any Kenyan. And so could this be a political incitement? Are the leaders addressing the issues, or are they fueling division? Yeah, guys, that's a very important question. Let me know in the comment section there below. Are our leaders addressing the issues that our people in Kenya are facing, or are they fueling division so that we can be further divided? And so let me know in the comment section. And so what it seems we're witnessing is not just an accusation, but it is a political battle taking shape early. And on one side, a sitting president with state power, and the other side, a former Deputy President inside a now turning critic, and in the middle is us, the Kenyan people, trying to separate the truth from politics. And so the questions Kenyans are asking is, do you believe former Deputy President Gachagua's allegation are truthful, or is this political strategy? Because you can clearly see in that video he claims that he's going to add more of this to Kalonzo Musyoka, and he seems to be hinting that Kalonzo Musyoka is the chosen presidential candidate. And so he wants, perhaps he's going to share with Kalonzo Musyoka, so that Kalonzo Musyoka can also address these issues in his rallies. And so the second question is, should these claims be investigated officially? Yeah, guys, this is very important, because when a politician has this kind of information, and by the way, we need to also discuss where is former Deputy President Gachagua getting this information from, because if he's not in government right now, the question begs is, where is he getting that information? And so if he has this information for a fact, the question is, why hasn't he forwarded this information to authorities for investigation? Of course, there are challenges of filing a case against the president, to expecting the police to investigate the president. But what is the proper way of addressing this issue? Shouldn't he be using the institutions that the constitution provides, and should he be going to court with this evidence? You guys let me know in the comment section what former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua should be doing with that information that he's currently revealing in public. And the other question is Kenya facing a problem of power and wealth concentration? You know, what are you guys thinking? Is this going to be the main topic of conversation coming 2027? Are we going to discuss about power and wealth concentration? Because that seems to be what former DP Gachagua alleging there against the president. And lastly, is this the beginning of the 2027 political war? I think we've already answered this question, and the answer is yes. Because of 2027 election, political war may have started already. And so we're going to expect more of this coming up. And I think my next video, we're going to address the President William Ruto's reply to former DP Gachagua. And please tune in, subscribe to my channel so that you can watch my next video, and let me know what about your thoughts, because these are very, very strong remarks made by former DP Gachagua. Thank you so much for tuning in. That has been my time. I appreciate it. Please let me know about your comments. Please let me know about your thoughts. This is Sikiliza TV, Sauti ya Kenya, where we bring all voice of all Kenyan so that ndo tuweze kuelewa ni nini haswa inaendelea katika nchi yetu. So jamaa, naomba mu like, mu share, mu comment hapo, nisikize maoni yenu. Nitashukuru sana. Otherwise, naitwa Wilson Ochar na ni mie wenyu political analyst wa Sikiliza TV. Asante sana, mbarikiwe.